Okay, so what we'd like to do is, if you have any questions, get your questions answered. And that's for anybody who has questions, because I know that most people here, this is all brand new. So this is a time, if you have a question about the product, stick your hand up. That's what I'm here for. So I'd like to just say one thing in starting, and that is the big difference between this program and a lot of other programs out there is that this program actually targets why somebody's overweight in the first place. It's very different from a diet program, an exercise program, a lot of the other lose weight programs that are out there that, you know, Michael mentioned this yo-yo effect. The reason why people can lose weight and they can feel better, but it doesn't stay like that, is because the cause of the overweight is not addressed in the first place. And unless that cause is addressed, the weight's just going to keep coming back. And so that's why I'm so excited about this program. I've been working with a test group of people in the United States for probably the last 6 months and watching the incredible results people are getting, even if they don't change their diet, even if they don't exercise, even if they don't change anything in their life at all. They use this program. Every single person, without exception, had wonderful results. It was extraordinary to watch. And some people just used part of the program. We had some people that just did this and nothing else. Just that one product. We had other people that did these 2 products, didn't do any cleanse, anything, still got results. And then we had people do the whole 3. And also around this, we do have a diet program, and we do have an exercise program, and we do have other things, but this is the crux of the program. And so people can pick and choose. You know, if somebody really does want to change their lifestyle, that's all available. However, there's a lot of people that don't want to do that. You know, it takes a lot. It takes a commitment and a willingness to, you know, really be uncomfortable to change your lifestyle. So for people that don't want to go there, that don't want to do that, this is amazing. All I have to do is take these products. Change will happen. And so one of the things that I could just address very briefly is, you know, when I talked about the foundation, like getting in there and targeting why the body's overweight in the first place, that's basically this product here. So these 2 are pretty self-explanatory, right? Be pure, detoxifying the body. Like Michael said, most people know we carry around a lot of toxins in our body. We drink toxins when we drink water. We eat toxins when we eat food. We breathe it in the air. It's just like it's everywhere. Plus our body creates toxins called metabolic toxins. The waste products of our body build up. So we have all kinds of different forms of toxicity. And this body is amazing, and it will take those toxic molecules and cover them with fatty tissue so that it doesn't impact our day-to-day life. It just kind of stores them in the fat tissues of the body. And the more it does that, the more we kind of get filled up to the point where we start compromising our health and the way that we function. So we can only do that for so long. We need to find a way to keep things moving in there. So, like Michael said, this is a full body cleanse. It's very gentle, it's very easy, and you do it for 1 week of every month. It's a 1 week a month piece. So it's a liver cleanse, it's a blood cleanse, it's a colon cleanse, it does the whole lot. It's just a powder, you mix it with water, you drink it, done. Very simple. The meal replacement, that's pretty self-explanatory. A lot of programs are based around a meal replacement. So we have that as part of the program because we know that sometimes, not always, but sometimes the amount of food that people eat is an issue. The other thing about Be Full is, as the name suggests, people stop being hungry. People stop craving things. They stop feeling like I need to keep eating in order to be full. But this one is the real gem. That's the real key. So what causes the body to start pushing on weight? You know, some of us don't. I tried for years to put on weight and I never could. I was kind of one of these people that lives on the other end of the spectrum. However, you know, it's becoming more and more and more of an epidemic. And it's very common, especially for women, as they go through menopause and postmenopausal women to really start, you know, putting on the weight. And a lot of that is hormonal. So that's one of the pieces that we need to look at when we're targeting what causes the body to be overweight. Hormonal imbalance is one of the key pieces. And there are particular hormones that are very directly involved in how our bodies store fat. They're probably hormones that a lot of people are not familiar with. Things like there's a hormone called adiponectin, which is a hormone that is directly responsible for the size of our fat cells. And one of the things that we've seen is that the more weight people carry, the more they're deficient in adiponectin, because that is the hormone that keeps our fat cells at a healthy size, the way they should be. Another hormone that Michael alluded to is something called leptin. Leptin's a hormone that lives inside the fat cells of our body. And leptin has a couple of different things that it does as part of that process. And one of the things it does is that its job is to signal the brain, to tell the brain, okay, I've had enough, I'm full, I've got what I need, don't need to eat anything else. How many times have you had a really big meal, felt really full, and then 10 minutes later, gone to the fridge and gone, what can I eat? I'm seeing people laughing. It's true, I've done it. That's what we call leptin insensitivity. Our bodies have become desensitized. That signal from the hormone to the brain is interrupted. We're not getting it. And there's a couple of different reasons for that. One of the main reasons is deficiency of leptin. And it's a very well-known fact that, again, the older we get and the more we carry excess weight on our body, the less leptin is in our body. And they measure that actually by the amount of leptin in the bloodstream. It's very easy to measure. So when we affect a hormone, we don't just affect one hormone in the body. We affect the entire endocrine system. And so one of the things that we've seen with this program, unlike any other thing that I've seen when people try and lose weight, is that with this program, because we're targeting the foundation of why that body is in that state in the first place, rather than just treating the symptoms, is that people feel great. People feel energized, they feel joyful, happy, they want to get out and do things, which is very different from normally what happens when people try and lose weight, when they go on a diet program, when they do, you know, any of the other programs that are out there. Because it's just treating the symptom and the body feels deprived, the body goes through detoxification processes, there's all kinds of things that happen The blood sugar is affected, so there's low energy. But with this, none of that, all of that is addressed. And so there's a couple of things in here. There's something called African mango, and that's one of the key compounds in here that actually works on that whole leptin sensitivity piece. One of the things that's been found is that that food called African mango actually helps the body create leptin. And so we're rebuilding that healthy hormonal balance in the body. The adiponectin also is helped by something called raspberry ketones. So when you try this thing here, it's kind of got a berry taste to it, which is dried raspberries. It's dried raspberry powder. That's what you're tasting when you taste that. Raspberry ketones are specific compounds that exist within the raspberry fruit that have a very specific action in the body. The catalyzing of adiponectin is one action. The other action, which is absolutely key, is that it works very specifically with a protein in the body that breaks down that visceral fat. So the fat that surrounds our organs, the fat that Michael was talking about that causes an inflammatory response in the body. See, a lot of people don't think about when we put on weight, we see what happens out here. We don't realize it's happening inside too. We don't just grow out this way, we grow inside too. And so we've got fat building up inside our body that we don't see. So our organs get squashed. They can't function properly because they're surrounded by fatty tissue that's keeping them locked. So as well as getting inflamed, they can't actually even move properly. I mean, it's a very physical thing that happens. And so being able to break that fat down and get rid of it is huge for somebody's health. I had a good friend I spoke to a couple of weeks ago who is basically my size, and she does this business with us. She's a business partner, and she said, well, I don't really need this. I mean, I love the concept of it, and I can see how it can really help people, but I don't really need it. However, she decided to try it because she said, I wanted to know what it tasted like, and I wanted to know what it felt like in my body so that I know what I'm recommending to somebody. In 2 weeks, 3 weeks, in 3 weeks, she lost 4 kilos. And she said, I have no clue where those 4 kilos came from because my measurements are exactly the same as when I started. The only thing I can think of is it was that inside fat that I couldn't see. Because I think regardless of our size, I think we all carry it. So not just for somebody that is trying to lose weight. I mean, this product targets a lot of other stuff that's going on in the body. The other thing that's really key to the imbalance that happens when we start, getting bigger and putting on weight is this whole insulin, blood sugar, glucose triangle that gets so out of balance in the body. And there's a couple of ingredients in here that very specifically target that. One of the biggest causes of type 2 diabetes is something called postprandial glucose spikes. They're the glucose spikes that happen when we eat food that are completely out of balance. When we eat a meal and we break food down in our body, that's supposed to energize us, right? We get energy from our food. We're supposed to get energy from our food. However, it's very, very common to eat a meal and then 20 minutes or half an hour later, all you want to do is go to sleep. And that's because that whole blood sugar piece is completely out of whack. Part of it is because of what we eat. A big part of it is because of what we eat. But also, even if we're not eating a lot of carbohydrates or sugar, it can still happen. And in fact, your body still produces sugar from protein. A lot of people don't even realize that. And as we get older, that imbalance becomes more and more and more and more pushed out. Part of it is part of the aging process. It's as our bodies start breaking down, that's one of the things that goes completely out of balance. But the other piece is, you know, the more we hold toxins, the more our bodies are under stress, you know, all of those things contribute, because this glucose, blood sugar, insulin piece is absolutely key to foundational health for all of us. I think type 2 diabetes right now is the number one, it's the biggest growing sector in the disease category right now is type 2 diabetes. And there's an unbelievable number of people who are pre-diabetic right now. So it's a huge, huge, huge problem. Green coffee bean extract is one of the things that very, very specifically targets that. There's been some really, really exciting clinical studies done that, you know, that show again and again and again how green coffee bean impacts and rebalances out this whole blood sugar problem. I mean, it's amazing. It's very exciting. Another thing that happens as we stack on weight is that, and again, part of the aging process as well, so as we age, even if we're not, you know, a big person, our metabolism tends to start slowing down. And again, it's a pretty well-known fact, the bigger the person, the slower the metabolism. And so one of the things that we want to do is raise the metabolism rate to the point where it's healthy. The body can do what it needs to do. The body can metabolize its food properly. It can get rid of toxic buildup properly. It can, you know, push messages through the nervous system properly. All of the things it needs to do, it can do properly when the metabolism rate is working properly. And so we need to get that metabolism rate up to the point where we need it to function optimally. You know what it feels like when you exercise? It's because you've raised your metabolism rate. Now we're not raising it to the point where it's dangerous. That's not what we're about here. We're raising it to the point it should be for your body to function optimally. And so green coffee bean extract is part of that picture, and so is green tea. Any questions at this point? I can keep raving on, but yes?
What if you have got a fast metabolism anyway?
If you've got a fast metabolism rate anyway? Yeah, it's interesting. I'm one of those people too. I can see you are as well. I've started doing one of these every day to see what it feels like for me. I don't think it's affected my metabolism rate very much at all. It has, I actually feel a little better on it, and just, it's a very subtle thing, but I feel like my digestive system is working better, and I feel like my energy level is, I don't know, it's just upped a little bit, and it's kind of leveled out some. I actually do feel better on it, but I'm only doing one a day. So, I don't know, it's just, it's a choice, really. Everyone can do with a cleanse. We can all use that. So, yeah, maybe it's not necessarily for you, but who do you know? I mean, that's the other thing. You know, our commitment here is to have as many people as possible be as healthy as possible. And so part of why we get together like this is to share information. And, you know, although what we share may not be for you, who do you know who could benefit from this? There's so many people out there that need something like this. But it's a great question, because there are those of us whose metabolism rate is up there. Yes?
Because you've talked about type 2 diabetes, people having this, and they're obviously on medications, or maybe not obviously, some will be on medication, so it's clearly okay with that sort of medication. I'm just thinking of people who have heart issues, arthritic issues, and all those kind of more common things that people have medications for. So there's no, I take it there's no contraindications for anything like that?
It's a good question.
Medications?
I haven't found any. However, if there's ever a question, again, like we're always saying to people, take it to your doctor and say, I want to take this, is that okay?
So,
Because we cannot be responsible for those kinds of decisions.
so my experience so far with that has been doctors have to say no basically because they don't know anything but medicine.
Some of them, yeah, not all. But that's just, that we are responsible for delivering that message,
I
yeah,
understand.
regardless of the outcome. And then it's that person's choice.
I just want to share that I just had my first B-lean and went up to get some lunch,
Mm-hmm.
and I think I'm going to eat lunch. You're kidding? I'm so full.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's sitting out there, and I'm thinking, oh, what a waste that was. Later.
That's great. Dara, give it a question.
Yeah, I talked to someone the other day who's in the personal training industry, and he was concerned about fast weight loss and whether it was dangerous and sagging skin and stuff like that.
Very good. Yes. What we've seen so far is that this definitely does not do that. People do lose quite a bit of weight, some people quite quickly, but because of the way the product works in the body, it's a healthy weight loss. It's not something that is going to be detrimental in the long run. One of the things that happens when people do lose weight too quickly and they're not supporting what's happening in the body at a foundational level is that they can start detoxifying too quickly. They can go into a state of autotoxicity because, fat cells, that's where a lot of toxins are stored. If you start, getting rid of that too quickly, it can be overload on your system. And if the body is not supported in a way that allows that to work through at a rate that the body can deal with, then yes, that's what happens. And, same thing with blood sugar levels, same thing with, a lot of other things. It's not healthy to do it too quickly without supporting the body. What we've seen here is nothing like that has happened yet. I mean, yes, it's early days. It's only been, we've only been working with it for 6-7 months. But so far, and we've had a pretty good run. 6 months is a pretty long time. We haven't found any of that at all. Lisa?
I'm not somebody that massively needs to lose weight, but when I went and had comprehensive blood tests done, one of the things the doctor said was showing up was heightened levels of inflammation in my body, and it sounded really obscure to me. But I just wanted to say this whole thing with visceral fat that may be invisible in your body, triggering that, and then all the other subsequent health issues that could go along with it, it's just like comes so clear. So what I was also wondering, this is my question, do you think that visceral fat could be, and the inflammation is something that would be contributing to all the different autoimmune diseases and things that are happening out there? Do you think it's that kind of inflammation that's going on that's,
It could be. It's a good question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, when somebody has an autoimmune disorder, whatever imbalance is happening in the body has got to such a place where there's a switch that happens. and the immune system just completely goes back in on itself in a way that, well, you know what it is. But I don't know. I haven't thought of that. It's a good point. Maybe I don't really know. Yeah.
If you've got somebody on this program, then again, well, I've got several customers on Body Balance who are going to change over to this as soon as it arrives in New Zealand next month. So they won't need their Body Balance. I'm taking it because they'll be doing this program for a few months till they're happy with where their weight is. And I'm also gathering that because the beef full's got protein in it, wouldn't add extra amino charge into Life Force Shake, for example. I have a Life Force Shake in the morning, and I'm not putting because I've started to have the beef full. I'm not putting that in, and I'm not putting the True Greens in. I'm not quite sure how to work the extra products, or whether there's a need to, or
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I would say, you know, ideally, keep drinking Body Balance. Don't stop. I mean, there's nothing that can replace that. I mean, that is totally foundational. There's nothing that can replace that. This is something completely different. If you're using the existing products like True Greens and Amino Charge, yeah, this will take the place of Amino Charge. You can still add your True Greens in because that's a different product again.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking in terms of people's wallets. If they're on auto ship with this, then some may be able to keep going with this, some may not be able to.
Sure.
But if we can get this for free for them and that for free for them,
Exactly.
then there's no reason why not to use
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah, I mean, that's the wonderful thing, is the program that allows people to get these products for free. I mean, it's extraordinary, and it doesn't take a whole lot. You know, 3 people. Do you know 3 people who could benefit from this? My goodness. Any other questions? Diana?
The Be Pure, how regularly does someone have to drink that? Because once your body is detoxified from the cleans, you wouldn't want to do it every month, is that right? Or
It depends on the person. So because you only do the Be Pure 1 week a month, it really depends on the person. If you've never cleansed yourself before, then 1 week a month until you reach a place where you feel good, that's just a very personal thing. After that, I would recommend people do it like once every 3 months or once every 6 months, like you would any other cleanse.
Yeah. So I know people who do colon cleanses. You know, that they go to a colon therapist. They wouldn't need to do that with the Be Pure, would they?
Yes,
They still would. Still a good idea.
still a good idea.
Oh.
Because when you have a colonic irrigation, all it does is it cleans the colon. It doesn't clean the liver, it doesn't clean the blood, it doesn't do any of the other stuff.
But I mean, if they're having Be Pure, that does all of the cleaning.
It does all of the cleaning.
But
yes.
they wouldn't need to go and have this.
No.
Yes.
No.
That was my question. Would
Yeah.
they still need to do that?
Yeah.
Because I think for some people they do that regularly, it's probably quite an expense. And so in fact their costs of keeping themselves clean may drop by using this.
Yeah, absolutely.
If somebody did the program for a month, or maybe even 2 months, would it be good for them to continue on taking, like maybe not doing the whole program, but dropping down to just the B-Bean and maybe Body Balance or something like that ongoing to support?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, you know, with something like this, everyone's body is different. You know, what does your body need? I don't know, you know? Everyone's body is different. Some people may want to stay on this entire program for a year. I don't know. The people that, so far that we've been working with, I've had a number of people who have got to a place where they feel amazing. You know, they've lost weight, they feel healthy, alive, vibrant, feel really good. And a number of those people have said to me, I don't want to be without this because I feel so good on it. I want to keep taking it. And so they've cut down to doing 1 of these a day as a maintenance thing, just to keep all that working properly. You know, it's kind of like eating good food. Just because I've had one good meal doesn't mean I'm not going to have another one. So it's because it's food, because it's just, you know, it's fine to do that. And we've had a lot of people who've said, okay, this is what I'm doing. So people find their own way with it.
So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong in just
There's
continuing
nothing-
on it
no.
every month forever.
No,
if
not
you
at
wanted
all.
to. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, well, thank you. And if you've got any more questions, I'll be around.